Hi guys. Okay, so we are going to do a video on least common multiple. So we have been working on prime factorization and greatest common factor and all of that using the same exact method. And that method is the ladder method, right? So we are actually going to be using the exact same thing to find least common multiple. So before we begin that, let's talk about what in the world multiples even are. Okay, so when we are trying to figure out multiples, right, we are not trying to find factors of 3. We're trying to find multiples of 3. So what that would look like is like 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, and so forth. So 3 times 1 is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Like these are the first 5 multiples of 3. Okay. Now, I want to go ahead and try to find the first 5 multiples of 5. Okay? So that would be like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. We could keep going, right? We could keep listing the multiples forever and ever. But what we're trying to do here is find the least common multiple. So the only one that I can see they have in common, they both share 15. So that is their least common multiple. It's the smallest multiple that they both have. And if you were to keep listing out 3 and 5 forever and ever and ever, you would see that they share more than that. They would share 30 and 45 and 60, and like they would keep sharing these multiples, but we want the least common one. So for 3 and 5, it was pretty easy to find. We didn't have to list a whole bunch of numbers out to do this. But sometimes the numbers are not quite this small, and we have, instead of going out and listing just all of these numbers, there's a faster way that we can do this using that ladder method that we have been working on for weeks. So if we're already using the ladder method, let's go ahead and try it. So let me give you some examples. All right, so let's do an example. Example 1. I would like to find the LCM, or least common multiple, of 18 and 32. So again, in the past, these were really easy. I knew 3, 6, like I didn't even need a calculator to know these. I do not know the multiples of 18 off of the top of my head, nor do I know them for 32. So I don't really want to make lists that sounds boring. So we can use that ladder method in order to do that. So we're going to draw the ladder. So just like in the past several weeks, we want to, the only thing that comes out of the ladder are prime factors of both. So they have to be a factor of 18 and 32 and prime. So if you're still like, I can't remember the primes, you can always make like a little list, on the side of your screen or the side of your paper. Like these are the most common ones that you'll pull out. It's not guaranteed, but it's pretty sure these are the ones you're going to pull out. So I know that they're both even numbers, so I can pull out a 2. I know that 2 goes into both, and I know it's prime. So 2 times what would give me 18? That's 9. 2 times what would give me 32? That's 16. So now I have to look at 9 and 16 and ask myself, is there a common prime factor they share? And there's not. So look at this. This is how I remember this. L in least common multiple, you multiply the L here, like you draw like an L around these numbers, and these are the ones you multiply. So you'll do 2 times 9 times 16. And you should get your LCM is 288. Isn't that cool? So we don't have to go and list all of the factors of 18. We don't have to go list all the factors of 32. We can just find all we have to do is use our ladder method that we've been working so hard on anyway, and then multiply the L. All right, let's do another one. So we're going to find the LCM of 27 and 42. We're going to find the LCM of 27 and 42. So I'm going to draw my ladder. So I have to think, is there a prime factor that goes into both of these? All right, the only one I can think of right now is 3. So 27 divided by 3 is 9. 42 divided by 3 is 14. So now you look, 9 and 14, do they share a common factor, prime factor? And they don't. So I'm done. That's the end. So to find the LCM, the L, we multiply the L here. Isn't that cool? So 3 times 9 times 14. So you grab your calculator, 3 times 9 times 14, and I got 378. So easy to find. I'm going to do a few examples in this video, so fear not. Okay. So let's find the LCM of 24 and 54. All right, so let's do our ladder method. So if you don't know all the factors, that's super fine. The first thing I notice is that they are both even numbers, so that means 2 can go into it. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. 54 divided by 2 is 27. Now I look at my ladder. Is there a prime factor that goes into both 12 and 27? And there is. So I can do another rung to my ladder, and that number is 3. 3 goes into 12 4 times. 3 goes into 27 9 times. So now I look, 4 and 9, do they share a common factor? They don't. So now I've reached the end of all my ladders, so I'm looking for L, least common multiple. So if I'm doing the L thing, I multiply my L numbers. So I can do 2 times 3 times 4 times 9. You just put that right in your calculator. And I got 216. All right. So the only other thing that you might see in here is you might see 3 numbers. Sometimes it might ask you for the LCM of 30, 50, and 70. Right? It might ask you to find the LCM of 3 numbers, which is fine. We can handle it. So we draw our ladder, just an extra long ladder. So again, I notice that these are all even numbers, or they're all end in zeros. So 5 would work. I could take out a 5. So 30 divided by 5 is 6. 50 divided by 5 is 10. And 70 divided by 5 is 14. All right, let's look. 6, 10, 14. Do they all share a common factor? Well, they sure do. They're all even numbers. So I can use 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now I look at 3, 5, and 7, and I do not see anything. Yeah, they don't share a common factor. So now, oops, so sorry. So now I'm looking for LCM, so I multiply all of these numbers in the L. So 5 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 7, and you should get 1,050. Now, the only other thing you're going to learn in class is least common multiple is typically used in word problems for situations. So for that, you can go ahead and refer to the recording that we'll do in class on September 12th. We're going to be doing a whole lot of word problems on that one, so you can always watch that recorded class.